So the Yankees are definitely going to have a lot of questions to answer, but we know the big one is shortstop. As you guys know, Brian Cashman addressed specifically the shortstop position as a position of need in terms of, a position he wants to upgrade. Does that mean that Gleyber Torres is getting traded? No, not necessarily. You can always slide LeMahieu to third, have Gleyber play second, or put LeMahieu at first. I really think Gleyber and LeMahieu will be sticking around. I do not feel the same way about Urshela and Voit, whether we like it or not. I think those two are considered the expendable ones due to their age, their contract situation, compared to LeMahieu, where LeMahieu has a no-trade clause, and you're probably not going to have an easy time moving $15 million over the next 5 years, a year. And it just doesn't make sense to trade LeMahieu at his lowest value. But as for shortstop, there are definitely options out there. There's a stacked shortstop class, and one of the big ones has to be Trevor Story. Now, the biggest one, in my opinion, and the best one is Carlos Correa, but I do want to save that video for when I bring on a special guest to record that one. If you follow me on Twitter, I think you'll know who that is. I would definitely consider them the leader, the pioneer of the Correa to New York movement, specifically the Yankees. But with that being said, let's talk about Trevor Story, because I do think there's a lot of value in Trevor Story. I think that there's a lot of things to like about his game, and a lot of things that he brings to the table that play nicely for the Yankees and what they need. So with that being said, without further ado, remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and let's get into today's video.
Got him! The pitch to Stanton, swung on, and drilled deep to left field. There it goes! 21. That one is driven out to center field and deep. Going back, Springer on the track, looking up, see ya!
So Trevor Story this year wasn't phenomenal, but he still provided some pretty solid value, considering that this is one of his lower, median outcomes, meaning that this is one of the more unlikely outcomes, because this is, kind of worst case scenario type stuff. He had a 100 WRC plus, a 6.4 BSR, 9 defensive runs saved, a 3.5 F WAR, a 4.2 R WAR, 24 stolen bases, or 24 home runs, and 20 stolen bases. Overall, that's a pretty darn good season, considering that is, again, considered his worst since he established himself as a superstar. I think so far that, you can definitely tell that Trevor Story really battled injuries. He had some elbow issues in the season. He really struggled in the first half offensively. Second half was a lot better, posted a 120 WRC plus in the second half. Overall, he is a very, very, very good ball player, and he does a lot of different things well. He is very talented. He is multi-talented, brings a lot of different skills to the table, and a lot of different skills that the Yankees need. He's a good hitter. Obviously, the Yankees can use offense. Good defender. Obviously, the Yankees can use great defense at shortstop. And he is a very, very, very good and very, very underappreciated base runner. And that's another thing the Yankees could use. So considering all three of those things, how does he stack up, since 2019 in those metrics? Well, he stacks up very, very well. So since 2019, he's proved to be one of the best position players in baseball. He has a 113 WRC plus, a 16.3 BSR, second best in all of baseball, 36 defensive runs saved, fifth best in all of baseball, 58 stolen bases, 8th best in all of baseball, a 12.0 F WAR, 11th best in all of baseball amongst position players, a 13.7 R WAR, which we can't find a ranking for without StatHead, which I hope to acquire at some point. I just don't currently have it, and 70 home runs, the 30th most in all of baseball. Now, I'm going to reiterate that Trevor Story is not the best shortstop on the market. That is Carlos Correa, but I do want to hammer the point home that Trevor Story is a very good baseball player, and if the Yankees do sign him, that's not a disappointment, because he's a good baseball player. He's a very good shortstop, and the Yankees would get a lot of value and a lot of production out of him. And he would definitely change a lot of what we see defensively from our shortstop play, and would overall benefit the team positively. I don't think that this argument that Trevor Story, because of one down year in which he was still pretty solid, that means he's not a good baseball player and he's bad for the team, or the fact that, I think he has a 24% strikeout rate, that means that he's bad for the Yankees. You just got to look at players who are good, players who play the position that we need them to play, and play it well, and bring a lot of value to the team. As long as they do that, that's what matters. When you try to get into this semantics argument about whether they're the right fit, or if they're too much home run or bust, you're getting into a really weird argument that doesn't really get founded on by many modern analytics, or any metrics, or any numbers, or any correlation. the industry has moved towards barrels, walks, stuff like that, and so should most MLB fans. I understand that it's difficult, and it's different from what how the game was played 30 years ago, but that is just how the game is moving. And Story provides a lot of the modern positives to a game, to a lineup, and to an offense that the game and the Yankees specifically could really use. So with that being said, that'll wrap up today's video. If you guys like Trevor's story, if you guys like what I do, please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Ryan, out.